I think I'm going to be using it a lot in the sweaty season, you know? I felt like I was choosing between children. It was very, very traumatic for me. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. Today I'm going to be doing a video idea that I have seen circulating around the beauty YouTube space, and it is my top 3 products in each category. So my top 3 primers, my top 3 foundations, concealers, yada yada yada. If you enjoy videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into my top 3 products in every category. Starting off with primers, I have 3 primers that all do different things. So I have a smoothing primer, which is none other than the Benefit Porefessional. It smooths your pores like none other. If you have enlarged pores in this area like I do, you just take a little bit, rub it in there, and it's like a magic eraser. I don't apply this all over my face. I usually just focus it on the areas where I do want to blur any texture or pores. A primer that I use for longevity, especially in the hotter months when I'm going to be sweating a little bit more and my makeup's going to be melting off my face, I like something a bit more tacky. My favorite tackier primer is the NYX Plump Right Back with Electrolytes Plumping Serum Primer. It's not as sticky as something like the Milk Hydro Grip or the e.l.f. Power Grip, but I love this one because it's a bit more hydrating, not overly sticky to where it's uncomfortable. So if you've tried the Milk Primer or the e.l.f. and you find them to be just too sticky for your liking or they're not hydrating enough, try this one. It's hydrating and it also helps to prolong the wear of your makeup. Last but not least, I'm sort of cheating with this one because it's not technically a primer, it is an SPF, but the e.l.f. Whoa Glow SPF is one of my favorite makeup primers because it gives you the sun protection that you need for anti-aging, to prevent against skin cancer, but this leaves the most beautiful, glossy, glowy finish to your skin. It just makes your skin look super healthy and plump. Love this one. It moisturizes the skin, it protects the skin, and it gives you that glowy finish. Moving on to foundations, this one was a tough category. I felt like I was choosing between children. It was very, very traumatic for me. I think my #1 favorite foundation at the moment is the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. It gives you, like the name would suggest, that candlelit glow. It's magical, medium to full coverage, or you can sheer it out if you mix in a little bit of moisturizer. It's super versatile. It does dry down so it's not greasy. Just love this. It's so, so, so good. An oldie but a goodie is my Veil Sunset Skin Foundation. This one is a little bit thicker than the Nars, but not in a bad way. It comes out a little bit thicker, and once you warm it up on your skin, it sort of melts down. This one is very undetectable on the skin. It literally looks like you're not wearing any makeup, and it does dry down to more of a satin matte finish. It gives you like a light to medium coverage, just so perfect because it doesn't feel heavy. It's very lightweight and it looks undetectable. So love that one. And then a favorite from the drugstore is the NYX Bare With Me Blur Tint. I don't think this is going to be for everyone, but I love it. This is somehow a full coverage matte foundation that literally feels like a skin tint. I understand why they call it a blur tint. Definitely love this one, and I think I'm going to be using it a lot in the sweaty season, you know? Concealer, one of my favorite categories. For some reason, I love testing out new concealers. I'm always on the hunt for the magical one, but I do have 3 great options that are pretty close to perfection, I feel, in my opinion. The first is probably my holy grail, the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. The funny thing is, I didn't like this concealer. Well, I didn't not like it, but I just didn't love it the first time I tried it. But my oh my, have my thoughts changed because I am obsessed with this concealer. It's not going to blow your socks off right off the bat because it's not like a super full coverage concealer. It's not super dewy, it's not super matte, it's not really super anything. That's why I love it. It just works for every day. It's so easy. You don't have to think about it. If you have dry skin, you don't have to set it. It's just something that's super reliable and that always looks good. A newer addition to my collection, I think it launched this year, I'm pretty sure it did, is the Makeup Revolution IRL Filter Finish Concealer. This is similar to LYS. I would say it's a little bit more matte, but still not fully matte, more of that natural finish. It gives good medium coverage. It's super reliable. You can wear it with more everyday looks. You can wear it with glam looks. It always looks good. Love this one. I'm surprised how much I love it, but I love it. Last but not least, the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. So, so beautiful. Don't use too much or else it can crease. Just a little bit. Super hydrating, super natural. Love this for more of a light makeup day. All right, moving on to powder, a semi-boring category, but a super vital step in your makeup routine. And if you're a dry skin gal like me, you might not love powder because a lot of them just do you dirty, but I have 3 here that I think will serve you well. The first is a bougie product, but I, in my humble opinion, feel that it is worth all of the money. It is the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder. Very big mouthful there. This is so blurring. It almost feels like chalk, which sounds terrible, but it's so thin, so firmly pressed. It almost feels like a baked powder. I don't know if it technically is, but when they say blurring, that means blurring. Just adds like a veil over your skin. It blurs all of your imperfections. It sets your makeup, but because it's so thin, it is undetectable. It doesn't even look like you're wearing powder. So if you have struggled, if you're on the struggle bus and you cannot find a powder to work for you, try this one. I know it's expensive, but maybe wait for a sale. I know she has a bunch of like 30% off sales. Pick it up, try it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. On the other hand, if you are a babe on a budget, or if you just don't want to spend that much money on a powder, I totally understand. I also really love the e.l.f. Halo Glow, and honestly, this feels like a high-end or luxury powder. It doesn't take away the glow from your foundation or your base, but it does set your makeup, and it doesn't appear powdery on the skin. So love this one. I think a lot of people would really like that one, to be honest. So I have a pressed powder, a loose powder, and then I wanted to pick a powder foundation because I don't usually wear powder foundation all over my face, but I do always like to have a powder foundation in my collection for those times when I have a very stubborn blemish and, you know, concealer just ain't cutting it. And then after I've done all my makeup, I will just go in with a little bit of powder foundation, sneak peek onto what it is, and I will further conceal, and that will usually do the trick. I love the powder foundation from Makeup Forever, but I feel like this one from L'Oreal is just as good, if not like an exact dupe in my opinion. Super, super buttery, super smooth, very velvety. L'Oreal makes really smooth, velvety powders. It just melts onto your skin, and this one does have a good amount of pigment, so it's great for spot concealing. Or I also like to keep this in my purse, so if my makeup does tend to wear off throughout the day, if I'm having a long day, I can just take a little powder puff and sort of touch up the areas where my foundation has rubbed off, and that will usually just freshen things up and cover any redness that I might want to be covered. So love this powder foundation. Sticking with the powder theme, let's do powder bronzers. So my favorite powder bronzer is this Juvia's Place Bronze Duo. I have mine in the shade Light. You get two different tones. It's so firmly pressed, like there's no kickback to this at all. But you get a good amount of pigment, and it's very, very smooth on the skin. It builds up in very sheer, even layers, so it's really hard to overdo it. I love that you get the more cool tone shade and the more warm tone shade. Packaging is really sleek, and I like the magnetic closure, so that's a really good one. The other two powder bronzers I have are actually from L'Oreal. I told you, L'Oreal makes really good powders. One is matte, one is more glowy. This one I believe is newer. It is the Infallible Fresh Wear Bronzer. I have mine in the shade 200 Fair. So this one is definitely more pigmented than the Juvia's Place. This powder, when you touch it, it literally feels like velvet. I don't know how they did this because it doesn't feel powdery at all. It almost like melts down into a cream as it hits the warmth of your skin. It's so bizarre, but also like amazing. And it comes in a lot of shades for the drugstore, which I love. The L'Oreal Lumi True Matte Bronze It Bronzer, my packaging broke, but I don't care because I love the product. Can you see that reflection? This one is that same velvety, smooth, melts down on contact sort of texture, really easy to blend, but this one has a bit more of a sheen to it. I love all of these bronzers. If I only had these three bronzers in my collection, I would be happy. Alright, let's go ahead and switch gears and go into cream bronzers. I think my #1 favorite cream bronzer is actually from ColourPop. It is their Super Shock bronzer in the shade Get Sandy. This is the standard ColourPop Super Shock formula. If you like that formula, you will like this. It's that cream to powder, bouncy, moussey texture. I love this because it's very thin, super easy to blend. It literally melts into your skin and looks like you just have a tan. It looks so natural. So love this bronzer. One that is definitely way more pigmented, but really easy to blend nonetheless, is the Cosmetics So Soft Bronzer Stick. This one I have to be very careful with because the pigment is intense. But I love the shade of this one. This one is in the shade Terra. It's the perfect neutral bronzer. It's a little bit cool tone, but not too gray. And it also just blends like a dream. Like, it's amazing for how pigmented it is. It's like you don't have to apply any elbow grease and it just wants to blend into your skin. So definitely love this one. I would not suggest drawing it onto your face because then I feel like it can be a little bit too much. I usually like to go in with like a stippling brush, swirl it around, tap off the excess on the back of my hand, and then apply. And I find that's the easiest way to get a controlled application. Another really pigmented one, but also a really great one, is this one from LYS. I have shade Motivate. Why am I like... This one is like butter. It just melts onto your skin. So again, very, very pigmented, but super buttery and creamy, but not greasy. And I love that LYS is a clean beauty brand that offers a really good shade range and pretty good prices for a Sephora brand. For powder blush, I actually only have 2. I'm not a big powder blush gal. I don't know, I thought I had more in my collection, but I really just didn't want to throw another powder blush in here that I wasn't like truly obsessed with. So I have 2. The first is the sister to the bronze duo. This is the blush duo. I specifically love the shade, or the volume, I guess, volume 4, which is the, you guessed it, hot pink and the cool tone baby doll pink. This is just so beautiful. Same spiel as the bronzer. No kickback, very thin, melts into the skin, sheer but buildable, not patchy. So gorgeous. And the bright pink one is really fun to add like a pop of color. I literally have to like hide this from myself so I don't wear it all the time. And then another one that I haven't used in quite a while, but that I had a love affair with and that I still really enjoy is the Almay Healthy Hue Blush. I have mine in the shade 200 So Peachy. It's sort of like the Milani Luminoso, but not glittery. Luminoso can be a little bit too sparkly or glittery sometimes for my taste. This one is not at all. It just adds that beautiful pearlescence to the skin. Gorgeous, gorgeous, very luxurious feeling formula. All right, let's talk cream blush. I have 3 that I'm obsessed with, and they're all affordable. So the first, if you know, you know. I feel like I don't even have to talk about this at this point because I literally cannot shut up about it, but the Hard Candy Face Off Liquid Blush in Born Yesterday is so beautiful. It's glowy on the skin, not shimmery, not sparkly. It gives you a softer, more wearable version of something like the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wands, like the blush wands, or the e.l.f. Halo Glow beauty wands that they just launched. Those ones are more metallic. This one is a more, I feel, everyday wearable glow. The shade is, for my skin tone, the perfect baby doll pink. You can sheer it out for a more natural look, but you can build them up, and they're very, very long lasting, and they do dry down. I haven't tried the other shades, so I can't speak to those, but the shade Born Yesterday is amazing. I also love the Juicy Pang Jelly Blusher. You can get this from Yes Style or Amazon. That's where I got mine. It's a cream to powder formula, sort of like the ColourPop Super Shock formula as well. That kind of bouncy, moussey texture. It looks super skin-like, and it almost blurs the pores and imperfections on your skin. I love the shade of this one. It's the most beautiful ballerina baby doll pink, so I need this in my collection no matter what. And then the last one I was actually a little bit surprised by, but as I was looking through my blushes, I was like, yeah, I really do love this one. It is the Water Blusher from Undone Beauty. So this is very interesting. It has a cooling sensation when you apply it to the skin. It kind of feels like you're applying cold water. It's so strange, but also like oddly satisfying. I don't know, I really like it. The thing about this one is that they are uber pigmented and they do sort of stain the skin, which I actually like because that makes them really, really long lasting. They're a very unique, innovative formula. I don't have anything else in my collection quite like this, and I do love how long lasting the pigment actually is. Moving on to one of my personal favorite categories, highlighter, because I love to glow. I'm gonna talk about powder highlighters first. This, first of all, the packaging is the cutest darn thing I've ever seen. It looks like a little pebble. This is the Rare Beauty highlighter from Miss Selena Gomez, and I have mine in the shade Enlighten. Unfortunately, tragically, mine did shatter, so beware because this is very, very fragile. If you want a super intense highlight, this is it. This is it. It is like starshine on your face. It's like intense highlight that somehow looks natural because it's that baked formula that sits so closely to the skin. It really does melt into your skin, and the shade sort of adjusts to your skin, if that makes sense. So gorgeous. One of my favorite highlighters of all time. Another one on the opposite end of the spectrum is the, of course, Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. This is the perfect highlighter for you girls that like a more subtle, subdued highlighter. This one is not going to be super in your face. It is that same baked formula, but it's just that highlighter that's like, is she wearing highlighter? Is she not wearing highlighter? I'll always need this in my collection as well because there are those days where I just want something more natural and not as intense as the Rare Beauty. If you don't want to spend the money on the Rare Beauty highlighter, a really good alternative is the Revlon Skin Lights highlighter. I have mine in the shade 201 Daybreak Glimmer. This, again, is a baked formula. I guess I really just love the baked highlighters. There's something about them, they just really melt into the skin. This one is very intense, but again, it doesn't look chalky or glittery on the skin. It is intense, so beware, go in with a light hand, but it's so beautiful. The packaging is gorgeous, and I love this little like embossment they put in here. Such a nice little detail. If I had to choose one formula of highlighter, powder or cream, I think I would probably have to go with creams just because they always tend to look very, very seamless on the skin. One of my favorite cream formulas is again the ColourPop Super Shocks. You might think cream natural, but do not be fooled. This cream is very, very intense in the shade Flexitarian. It's gonna be that highlighter that you see from across the room, but that just makes your cheeks pop. Love this for a more glam look, a more special occasion. Even though it's very intense and very reflective, again, it's not shimmery, it's not chalky, so it does melt into the skin. Somehow it looks more natural even though it's intense. The e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand, the highlighter, this is my favorite out of all of the beauty wands. This is so good. It is reflective, but still pretty natural. Blends out like a dream. A little bit goes a long way. It dries down. It's not sticky. It looks just so wet and dewy on the skin. So I love this one, and I have mine in the shade Champagne Campaign. This technically is a contour and highlighter, but I love the NYX Wonder Stick highlighters, specifically for my skin tone in the shade Universal Light. This makes your cheek look wet. It's not glittery, it's not sparkly. It is so creamy. I would buy the Wonder Stick just for the highlighter. The bronzer part is good too, but the highlight is where it's at. All right, let's talk eyes. So the eyeshadow palette I'm wearing today is the Anastasia Nouveau palette. This is such a gorgeous palette. I think I'm really loving it right now just because it just screams spring to me. You can get really neutral looks out of it, but you can also play with some color. Every shade is super, super buttery, super pigmented, very easy to blend, very smooth. The metallics are so creamy, so reflective. I love the formula. One of my favorites of all time. I had to mention this because every single time I do a colorful eye look, I always use this little gem right here. This is the Sugar Pill Fun Size Mini Color Palette. Taste the rainbow, a bunch of Skittles in your pocket. If you ever want to play with color, this is a really great way. It's not a super expensive palette, but the quality is there, and I love how these are more pastel colors, so they're a bit more approachable, I feel, and you get a lot of versatility and variety. So had to mention that one because it's just such a important piece in my collection. And then one of my favorite neutral palettes, which unfortunately it's so sad. I feel like I'm probably gonna have to replace this. I can't even tip it and show it to you because it's just shattered. But the ColourPop Going Coconuts palette, I'll try to insert a picture so you can see what it looks like. I dropped mine and it's seen better days. But I love this for just an everyday neutral look. I love that it's a bit more cool tone in the sparkles in here. The shimmers are so amazing. I feel like ColourPop can be a bit hit and miss for me. Some of the more pastel bright colors are more powdery and chalky. They don't stick to my eyelid as well. But this palette, the quality is next level. It's very, very good, very rich, very creamy. I feel like it's just a really great staple neutral palette. For liquid shadows, I actually am a big proponent and advocate for liquid shadows. I feel like they're so quick and easy. You can just toss on a liquid shadow, one and done, and it looks like you tried a lot harder than you actually did. I love the NYX Glow Shots. I love the more subtle sheen that these give, so I love using these for every day. Also, the Wet n Wild Shadow Silks are amazing, especially this matte shade in Terra. This blends like a dream. It's super pigmented, not patchy at all, and I also love the bronze shade for just like a one and done bronzy summer eye. So gorgeous. And then the ColourPop Metallic Shadows. These are great because they're sort of like the NYX Glow Shots. They're not super glittery or sparkly, but they add a little bit of sheen, a little shimmer, a little interest, and you can just like swipe it all over the lid, blend it out, and you're done, good to go, and they last all day long. So love these as well. They're so great for the price. For eye primers, I have two. My favorite eye primer is the MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. I love how this never looks or feels cakey on the eyelid. It's really easy to blend shadows on top of it. I also love how it covers up and conceals any discoloration that you have on the lids. If you want to conceal the veins, this covers them up really nicely. This is not technically an eye primer. I guess it is. It's their glitter primer from NYX. This is one of my favorite products because if you are using any sort of shimmer shade really, and you just tap a little bit of this onto your lid, this will really amp up the reflection in your shimmer shades and make them pop even more, but it also will prevent you from having fallout, especially if you're working with something that does have glitter particles in it. This is a necessity and I will always need this in my collection. For single glitters, or I guess these are considered more like eye toppers, my favorite at the moment is from About Face. It is their Fractal Eye Paint in the shade Tin Pan Alley. It has more of a sheer base, but it has like the most tiny, tiny little sparkles in it. If you just tap a little bit across the lid, it's like stars lighting up your eyelids. It's so pretty. I love that it is in this sort of liquid form because you don't get any fallout with these. So I love those. Those are amazing. I also really like using the ColourPop Super Shock shadows as more of a glitter topper. This one in the shade Ladybird is really great. You just take a tiny little bit and you can tap it over any eye look. It has a little bit more of a base pigment, I would say, than the About Face, but it does have those little tiny glitter particles that just add a little bit of oomph to any eye look. Another glitter topper that I'm obsessed with are these Star Show shadow pots from Moira. I have two shades, Eureka and Quartz. Eureka is this beautiful taupey, purpley gorgeousness. They just add so much reflection, so much light to the eyelids, but they don't make your eyelids look textured at all. Love, love, love. Eyeliner, a very integral part of the makeup routine. My favorite liquid liner is from One Size. This is their Point Made waterproof liquid eyeliner pen. I have mine in the shade Busty Brown. This is a felt tip pen, but do not be fooled. A lot of felt tips can get misshapen or dry out on the ends. This one has not done any of those things, and I've had it for a while now. It's so smooth, super pigmented, glides on over sparkles and shimmers and eyeshadow perfectly. And I love the shape of this because it's really easy to get a wing. You can just stamp it on and it sort of does the work for you. It's very beginner friendly, I feel, especially in the brown shade. A liquid liner that I love from the drugstore, but that is more intense, is the Epic Ink Liner. I have the brown and the black shades. This one is a brush tip, so if you're a brush tip girly, maybe you would like this. The formula is amazing. It dries down to a very intense black or brown matte. If I do want a very intense wing, this is the one that I'm going to reach for. The last eyeliner that I feel like is super important to me are these Epic Smoke Liners from NYX. They're very, very blendable, like super creamy and buttery. I just love using them to create a base for any eyeshadow look. In the mascara category, I only needed to mention one. I don't even have three, because the Maybelline Sky High mascara, the waterproof version, is my all-time favorite. I love a lot. The L'Oreal Voluminous is really good. The ColourPop Act Natural is really good. I like the Thrive one because it's easy to remove, but this one, there's something about it. It lengthens your lashes, it gives volume. It also holds a curl like none other. If you have very stubbornly straight lashes like me, I can curl them till the cows come home, but if I do not use this mascara, they will fall. I will forever repurchase. I will forever love it. It's amazing. Okay, I feel like I'm starting to lose my voice. I'm going to power through. Brow pencils, I won't stay too long on this because I feel like brows are pretty personal, but 3 brow pencils that I love are all super affordable. The e.l.f. Instant Lift brow pencil, this is like $3. The tip is a bit thicker than other brow pencils, but I love it for like quick and easy brow days because it just makes filling in your brows really, really fast. And I love the shade Neutral Brown because it's not warm toned at all. So if you find a lot of brow pencils are orangey on you, try this one. Also really love the Milani Precision brow pencil and the Maybelline the Ultra Slim brow pencil. Just your standard brow pencils with a skinny tip in the spoolie. They're not too creamy, they're not too dry, they're just the perfect in between. Definitely great finds from the drugstore. When it comes to brow gel, I've been really loving this clear brow gel from Anastasia. This one's a bit more pricey. I got it for, I believe, half off during like one of Ulta's 50% off deals. So I don't know if I would pay full price for this. I might, because it is really good. I love how it has a bit of a bigger spoolie, so it kind of just makes setting your brows quick and easy, and it doesn't leave your brows feeling crunchy. It just feels very lightweight, but it does hold your brows in place really well. And I also really love the Benefit Brow Setter, the clear one. That one's amazing. The brush on that one is way smaller than this, and it almost has a flat side. I used that one up completely, so I don't have it right now, but I would repurchase it because it is one of my favorites. And then my favorite from the drugstore is the Milani Clear Brow. This one is super, super similar to the Benefit. The spoolie is a lot bigger, but again, it just holds your brows in place, but it's not super sticky. It's not going to give you like that laminated brow effect, but it's going to get the job done. Okay, let's do lips. So my top 3 lip liners. The lip liner I'm wearing today is from About Face. This is their Matte Fix Lip Pencil. I have mine in the shade Cradled, a dark rosy beige. These are so creamy. It's a wooden pencil, but it glides on like butter. I love how long wearing these are. I feel like a lot of people don't know about it or talk about it, but About Face's lip liners are amazing. I actually just picked up 2 more shades for Mother's Day because I love the formula that much. I also love the Makeup Forever Aqua Resist lip pencils. These ones are waterproof, sweat proof, eating proof, all day life proof. These will last a really long time. I love the shade 1C, which is more of like a peachy nude, and then I also really love Rosewood. That's like my all-time favorite shade. Those ones are great if you want something very creamy. It doesn't tug on the lips at all, and it does stay in place. And then of course I love the Charlotte Tilbury lip pencils. I love Pillow Talk Iconic Nude is also nice. These ones are a bit bit more drier than the other two I just mentioned, but it's not too dry to where it's going to be like super uncomfortable, and it does last through everything. So definitely love these, worth the price. Okay, and last but not least, my top 3 lip products. I was gonna separate this into like balms, lipsticks, glosses, but I don't even know if half of you are still there at this point because I've been talking forever. And I just didn't feel like I had enough lipsticks by themselves to make its own category. So I'm just gonna narrow them down to my top 3 of all time. My favorite lip product is the Maybelline Vinyl Ink in the shade Peachy. I love all the shades, but Peachy is my go-to everyday nude. It's the perfect peachy but semi-pinky nude. The thing that I love about this formula is that it just lasts forever, but it's not drying on the lips. It's amazing. I don't know what witchcraft it is. I don't know what magic it is, but Maybelline did that somehow. It also smells like cookies. The Physicians Formula Diamond Plumper is also amazing. I have mine in the shade Cushion Cut. This is one of my favorite glosses of all time. It's very, very similar to Maybelline Peachy. I guess I like what I like. It's sort of that peachy but still pinky color. This is so plumping on the lips. It's not painful at all, but it somehow like glides over all of the lines on your lips. It makes them look super smooth, super big. It does have a bit of a minty sensation. It smells like cookies or vanilla, not sticky. Just gives you like that glassy, plumped up lip. So pretty. And then my last lip favorite is from CoverGirl. It's their Clean Fresh Yummy Gloss. It's either like you hate them or you love them, but I am in the love them camp. I am obsessed with these. They feel so nourishing on the lips. Like I find myself just applying this throughout the day. Instead of a lip balm or a lip treatment, I will pop this on because it really does feel like it's nourishing and hydrating my lips. I love the smell. It has a very fruity smell. It has a nice big doe foot applicator, and I love the shade Acai You Later because it gives you like that bitten sort of stained look. It looks really intense in the tube, but it does sheer out quite a bit. I don't know, I'm a big fan of these. I love them. I think I prefer these to the lip oils from NYX. I do like those as well, but there's something about this that just feels a little bit more like thick and cushiony on the lips, which I really enjoy. Okay, are you still here? Are you still with me? We're almost done. We're gonna do the setting spray. Don't leave, I will be quick, and you do not want to miss out on these products. So, setting spray. Milani Make It Last, locks your makeup in, super affordable, love it for longevity. Another really great one that does really prolong the wear of your makeup that's a little bit more pricey, but I feel worth the splurge is the Benefit Porefessional. I have the travel size. And then if you want a good hydrating spray, something that you can use also as a primer spray before makeup, the NYX Plump Finish with Electrolytes setting spray is amazing. So, love this one specifically for priming my skin. So yeah guys, that is my top 3 in every category. I really hope I'm not forgetting anything. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below letting me know some of your favorite products in each category. I'd love to hear from you guys. It means so much to me when you guys talk to me in the comments. I just feel like I'm talking to my friends. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you enjoyed it. It means so much to me, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.